My name is Lauren Hayes. I'm 31, and I've built an event planning empire that's orchestrated dream weddings across the country. Vogue called me a genius. Celebrities book me years in advance. But growing up, my family always saw me as second best. My younger sister, Chloe, was the star. Perfect, poised, their pride. 3 years ago, my parents demanded I pay for Chloe's extravagant wedding, saying she deserved it. I refused, last month. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "We're losing everything. Help us." Before I tell you how I flipped their world, drop a comment with where you're watching from. Hit that like button. Subscribe to hear how I stood my ground. I grew up in a charming brownstone in Philadelphia's Rittenhouse Square. It wasn't the biggest house, but my parents, David and Susan, made it look like a magazine spread. Fresh flowers daily, polished hardwood floors. My father was a financial advisor, always in tailored suits, name-dropping clients at cocktail parties. My mother owned a high-end jewelry boutique, flaunting her designs to anyone who'd listen. Then there was Chloe, 2 years younger, with her dazzling smile and effortless grace. By age 8, I knew the family script. Chloe was the princess. I was the backup. Appearances mattered to my parents. Dinner parties were theater. Lauren, sit taller, my mother would snap, fixing my hair. Look at Chloe's elegance. Chloe could do no wrong. When I was 9, I won a school essay contest about my dream job planning parties. My parents smiled at the award ceremony. But later, they gushed about Chloe's ballet recital. "Nice work." "Lauren," my father said, glancing at my certificate. "Will this get you into a good school?" I loved creating moments, decorating for birthdays, organizing school dances. By 11, I was sketching table settings, dreaming of events that sparked joy. My parents didn't understand. Parties are frivolous. My father said when I showed him a seating chart I'd drawn, "They don't pay bills." My mother was harsher. "Event planning, that's for people without ambition." Chloe, meanwhile, was their darling, dance team captain, homecoming queen. In high school, I joined the prom committee, designing a Starry Night theme that earned rave reviews. My parents never saw it. Chloe's dance competitions, they never missed one. "We're so proud of our girls," my mother would say at family gatherings, adding, "Chloe's destined for greatness, and Lauren's creative." At 15, I got a job at a local bakery, helping with wedding cake deliveries. I'd watch planners transform venues and felt alive. The owner, Mrs. Carter, noticed my knack for details. "You're a natural, Lauren," she said. I saved every penny for a laptop to design mood boards. Nights, I taught myself software, creating virtual galas. When I showed my parents my first digital layout, my mother sighed. "That's sweet. Honey, don't neglect your studies." My father was blunt. "Computers and parties. That's not a future. Learn to network like Chloe." Senior year, I applied to NYU's hospitality program, full scholarship. Chloe got into Penn State for marketing. Guess who got a lavish dinner at the city's top restaurant? "We're thrilled for both of you," my father said, toasting. "Penn State's a big deal. Chloe and Lauren, that program sounds interesting." I corrected him softly. "It's NYU, Dad. Best hospitality school in the country." He waved it off. "School's school. Don't expect us to fund it." They didn't. Chloe's tuition was covered. My scholarship was my lifeline. College was liberation. No more Chloe's shadow. I called home weekly at first, sharing my projects. They'd pivot to Chloe's sorority life. By sophomore year, I called less. They didn't notice. I immersed myself in event planning, majoring in hospitality with a business minor. Weekends. I interned at a Manhattan event firm, coordinating corporate galas. My roommate, Mia, thought I was crazy. "You're missing college fun," she said. But crafting perfect moments, flawless weddings, joyful reunions, that was my thrill. It was validation my family never gave. Holidays hurt. Thanksgiving meant hearing about Chloe's new boyfriend from a prominent family. Christmas gifts were telling Chloe got designer bags. I got plain sweaters. My junior year, my grandfather passed away. He'd loved my party sketches, framing them in his study, at his funeral. My father's eulogy praised Chloe's bright future and my hobby. By senior year, the distance between me and my family was vast. I graduated with honors, but my parents arrived late, leaving early for Chloe's sorority formal. "Sorry, Lauren," my mother said, hugging me briefly. "Chloe's event is huge. You get it." As they left, I vowed to build something undeniable, not for their love, but to show what they'd ignored. My graduation gift to myself was a tiny Brooklyn studio, shared with Mia, my biggest supporter. Our place was half home, half office, laptops on folding tables, vision boards everywhere. We lived on coffee and dreams, pouring every dollar into my startup, Hayes Events. "What are you doing in New York?" my mother asked during a rare call. "Chloe's interning at a top PR firm." I tried to sound excited. "I'm starting an event planning company. We're booking small weddings." Her reply, "Oh, is there money in that? Your father knows a bank manager if it fails." My father was worse. "Events are unstable. Lauren, you don't have Chloe's connections. Get a real job." But Mia and I pushed on. We worked 18-hour days, pitching to anyone who'd listen. Most said no. Then, a bride loved my vision for her rooftop wedding. Photos went viral. Inquiries flooded in. A tech CEO hired us for a launch party, then a charity gala. By year 2, we had a Manhattan office, 5 employees, and a waiting list. I called my parents with the news. "We're booked solid for 6 months." I said. My father's response, "That's nice. Watch expenses." My mother added, "Chloe's engaged. Her fiancé's family is influential." Our breakthrough came unexpectedly. A client referred us to a hotel chain needing a rebrand launch. We nailed the pitch. The event made headlines, landing us in Event Planner magazine. I sent the article to my parents. My mother's reply, "Lovely. Lauren, did you hear Chloe's wedding is at the plaza still?" We grew. We moved to Los Angeles, the event capital. For bigger clients, Hayes Events became a name. 2 years later, we landed a $5 million contract for a celebrity wedding. Our valuation hit $30 million. I bought a chic loft overlooking the Hollywood Hills, started a scholarship for young planners, and still craved one thing: my family's respect. I tried to connect. I sent gifts, custom jewelry for my mother, a rare watch for my father, a designer dress for Chloe. I offered to visit. They were busy. At Chloe's engagement party, I overheard my mother to friends, "Lauren's doing well with her party thing. It's not what we expected, but she's fine." Not everyone's a star like Chloe, even with my success. I didn't fit their vision. I wasn't engaged to a suitable man. I didn't live their polished life. My world, creativity, connection, celebration was alien to them. That's when the wedding drama began. If my work didn't impress them, maybe funding Chloe's dream wedding would. Little did I know, it'd spark a fire I couldn't predict. If you've ever felt unseen by family, share your story below. Stay tuned for what happened next. Welcome back. If you're just joining, I'm Lauren Hayes, the event planner who built a $30 million empire, only to have my family demand I fund my sister Chloe's lavish wedding. then dismiss me as unworthy. Last time, I shared growing up in Chloe's shadow, starting my business, and hoping to earn their respect. Spoiler, it backfired. Hit that subscribe button for the full story. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Let's dive in. The wedding issue surfaced after our biggest year yet. We'd just pulled off that $5 million celebrity wedding, boosting our revenue by 40%. To celebrate, Mia and I hit a rooftop bar in Los Angeles. "You need to splurge," Mia said, clinking her cocktail. "You work nonstop. Do something crazy." I laughed. "I'm not crazy." She grinned. "Exactly why you should be. Take a luxe trip. Plan a dream event for yourself." Later, scrolling social media, I saw Chloe's engagement post. The plaza, a diamond the size of a grape. My mother had mentioned Chloe's dream wedding was out of their budget. That's when it hit me. I could fund it. Maybe then, they'd see my worth. I called my mother the next day, heart racing. "Mom, I have an idea," I said. "What is it?" she replied, distracted. "We're planning Chloe's engagement brunch." I took a breath. "I want to pay for Chloe's wedding, full budget, whatever she wants." Silence. Then, "That's generous, Lauren, but Chloe's waited long enough. She deserves the best." I blinked. "I'm offering to give her the best." My mother sighed. "We'll discuss it. Chloe's fiancé, Ethan, has connections at the plaza. We need to prioritize their vision. No thank you. Just expectations." I called Chloe next. "I'm covering your wedding budget," I said. "Anything you want?" Her response: "That's sweet, Lauren, but we're aiming for elite. The plaza's top package is $300,000. Can you handle that?" I swallowed. "Yes. I'll plan it myself." She hesitated. "We've hired a planner. Ethan's family recommended her. You can assist." "Maybe." Assist, I ran a top event firm. But I agreed, thinking it'd bridge the gap. The budget I committed to $350,000, including upgrades. Chloe demanded custom floral arches, a string quartet, a couture gown. The demands escalated. My mother wanted A-list guests. "Will your celebrity clients attend?" she asked. My father insisted on a private jet for Ethan's family. Chloe requested a vintage Rolls-Royce fleet and a fireworks display. I covered every add-on, pushing the total to $400,000. I told myself it was worth it to be seen as equal. 2 months before the wedding, I flew to Philadelphia for a planning meeting at the plaza. "Everyone's buzzing about Chloe's wedding," my mother said, beaming. "The Wilsons are jealous. Their daughter's wedding was at a vineyard." I smiled. "It'll be stunning." My father sipped his scotch. "It's fine. Though the Ritz is more exclusive. Next time, maybe research better." His words stung, but I stayed quiet. At the meeting, Chloe's planner, a friend of Ethan's family, ignored my input. "We're going for timeless," she said, dismissing my modern floral idea. Chloe nodded. "Lauren, stick to logistics. You're good at that." My parents introduced me to vendors. "This is Lauren, our daughter who plans parties," my mother said, then pivoted to Chloe's PR career. My father toasted to Chloe's dream day and Lauren's contribution. The room clapped. I felt like a caterer, not family. I pushed forward, managing payments and vendors. The wedding was flawless crystal chandeliers, a 10-tier cake, a gown that made headlines. Guests raved. Chloe glowed. My parents basked in praise. I stood in the back, invisible. After the reception, my mother hugged Chloe. "You deserved this." "To me," she said. "Thanks for helping." "Lauren, pack appropriately for the brunch tomorrow." At the brunch, my father toasted Chloe's perfect future and my support. Chloe whispered, "You did okay, sis. No real gratitude, just entitlement." Post-wedding, I returned to Los Angeles, drained, I'd spent $400,000, hoping for respect. Instead, I got dismissal. Then, the bills hit. Chloe and Ethan had overspent on their honeymoon, expecting me to cover it. My parents had taken loans to keep up appearances, assuming I'd bail them out. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "We're losing everything. Help us." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. They'd taken my generosity for granted. Now, they were panicking. If you've ever been used by family, drop a comment. Stay tuned for how I responded. Hey, everyone, welcome back. I'm Lauren Hayes, and if you're new, I'm sharing how I funded my sister Chloe's $400,000 wedding, only for my family to dismiss me as unimportant. Last segment, I covered their endless demands, the wedding's success, and their financial collapse. Today, it gets intense. Smash that like button. Subscribe for the full story. Drop a comment with where you're from. Let's get into it. After my mother's text, "We're losing everything, help us," I couldn't think straight. I'd given them everything, and they still saw me as a wallet, not a daughter. I sat in my Los Angeles loft, staring at the city lights, replaying years of being sidelined. Chloe's wedding was the final straw. They'd used my money, then acted like I didn't matter. I called Mia, my best friend, at midnight. "Lauren, what's wrong?" she asked. Alert. I poured it out: the wedding, their entitlement, the text. They spent my money like it was nothing. And now they're begging, I said, voice cracking. Mia was furious. "They're shameless. You gave them a dream wedding, and they still treat you like you're less than Chloe." I wiped tears. "Why do I keep trying?" Mia softened. "You're kind. But Lauren, you're a $30 million CEO. You don't need their validation. They need you." Her words hit hard. I'd let them define my worth for too long. It was time to change that. The next morning, I called my mother. "What's going on?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. She sounded frantic. "We're behind on loans. The boutique's failing. Chloe and Ethan can't pay their debts. We need help." I pressed. "How much?" A pause. 200,000. Maybe more. I nearly laughed. "And why should I help?" She stammered. "Your family. Chloe's waited long enough for her happiness." That phrase again. I ended the call, promising nothing. I needed a plan, not guilt. I met with my lawyer, Rachel, to review options. "You're not obligated to pay," she said. "But if you want leverage, offer a deal. Protect your interests." I nodded. An idea forming. I'd help, but on my terms. I called my parents, proposing a meeting in Philadelphia. "I'll consider helping," I said, "but we discuss it in person." They agreed, desperate. I flew out, heart steady. This wasn't about saving them. It was about reclaiming my power. In Philadelphia, I met them at their brownstone. The house looked tired, faded curtains, unwatered plants. My father looked gaunt. My mother was anxious. Chloe and Ethan were absent. "Where's Chloe?" I asked. My father sighed. "She's stressed. Ethan's handling it." I sat, pulling out a folder. "I've reviewed your finances. You owe $250,000 across loans, boutique debts, and Chloe's overspending. I can help, but I'm not a bank. I need control." My mother frowned. "Control of what?" I leaned forward. "The boutique. I'll pay the debts, but I take 51% ownership. I run it. You step back." My father's face reddened. "That's absurd. It's Susan's business." I held his gaze. "It's failing. I'm offering to save it. My money, my rules." My mother teared up. "Why are you doing this?" I took a breath. "Because I'm tired of being your afterthought. I funded Chloe's wedding, and you said she waited long enough. You dismissed my work, my worth. Now you need me. This is how it works. They argued, but desperation won. They signed the agreement, transferring majority ownership to me. I wired the funds, covering their debts. Then, I turned to the boutique. I hired a retail consultant, revamped inventory, and launched a marketing campaign tying it to my event brand. Within 3 months, it was profitable. I kept my parents on as advisors, but I made every decision. Chloe and Ethan, meanwhile, ignored me, expecting handouts. I cut them off. Pay your own bills, I told Chloe. She hung up, furious. The shift was seismic. My parents began consulting me, valuing my expertise. Chloe sulked, but Ethan reached out, asking for budgeting advice. I offered it, keeping boundaries firm. I'd saved their legacy, but I'd done it for me to prove I wasn't invisible. If you've had to set boundaries with family, share below. Next segment. See how it all ended. Subscribe now. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the final part of my story. I'm Lauren Hayes, the event planner who funded my sister Chloe's $400,000 wedding, only to be dismissed until my family faced financial ruin. Last time, I took control of my mother's boutique to save them from debt. Today, I share the fallout, the transformation, and the lessons learned. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Let's finish this. After taking over the boutique, I felt a strange calm. I'd turned their crisis into my opportunity, proving my worth on my terms. The boutique's turnaround was swift. My event planning expertise branding, client engagement translated perfectly. We rebranded as Hayes Jewel, tied it to my firm's aesthetic, and drew high-end clients. Profits climbed. My parents, once dismissive, now asked my opinion on everything. But doubts lingered. Had I pushed too far? Would this fracture us forever? Then I remembered Chloe's wedding, their casual dismissal. I hadn't started this. I'd ended it. I gave Chloe space, focusing on the boutique and my Los Angeles firm. My parents adjusted, offering insights but respecting my authority. Chloe and Ethan, however, resisted. A month after the debt payoff, Chloe texted, "We need help with our condo payment," I replied. "Budget better. I'm done funding you." She called, livid, "You're selfish." "Lauren, I waited long enough for my life. I stayed calm. And I waited for respect. Work it out." She hung up. Ethan later apologized, asking for financial tips. I sent resources, keeping distance. One day, my mother visited the boutique unannounced. "Can we talk?" she asked, nervous. We sat in the redesigned showroom, sparkling under new lighting. "This is incredible," she said, touching a display. "I didn't know you could do this." I nodded. "You never asked." She teared up. "I've been wrong. We saw Chloe's path glamour, connections, and understood it. Yours was different." I held her gaze. Different doesn't mean less. I built a $30 million company. I saved your boutique. I deserve respect. She nodded. "I see you now. Lauren, I'm sorry." That conversation cracked the wall between us. She started asking about my work, listening intently. My father followed, calling to discuss boutique strategies. Chloe remained distant. But Ethan engaged, sharing their progress on debt repayment. 6 months later, I hosted a boutique relaunch event, inviting my family. Chloe came, hesitant. "This is amazing," she admitted. "I didn't get it before." I smiled. "You didn't try." She looked away, then hugged me. "I'm sorry. Lauren, I was spoiled. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start." The final test came at Thanksgiving. Hosted at my Los Angeles loft, my parents helped cook, asking about my latest events. Chloe and Ethan brought wine, and Chloe played with my dog, laughing freely. My father, still formal, asked about my firm's expansion. Old patterns surfaced a Chloe praise here, a slight dismissal there, but I addressed them calmly. My work matters. Dad, let's talk about it. He nodded, surprised. We were rebuilding, not as roles but as people. The boutique thrived, funding my parents' modest retirement. Chloe and Ethan stabilized, learning to budget. I maintained majority ownership, hiring a manager to oversee daily operations while I focused on Hayes events. The wedding hadn't fixed us, but it broke a cycle. I stopped seeking their approval and demanded respect. The real win knowing my worth didn't depend on them. If you fought for family respect, share your story below. Like and subscribe if this resonated. The biggest lesson, your value isn't in their eyes. It's in the empire you build, the boundaries you set, and the courage to stand firm. Create your own legacy and invite only those who see you. Thanks for joining me. Keep shining.